What is easier to do if you're a woman? Hiding sexual arousal. You've never had to belt tuck your clitoris? Not yet. You probably just haven't met the right guy yet, be patient. Carry anything on your hip. Anytime I carry something heavy and place it on my hip, it's like a part of my instinct awakens. I now feel slightly less insane for having the same feeling. Like I have to laundry basket up onto my hip, and there's some immediate connection with my inner 60-yo babushka ancestress carrying an 80 pounds bag of horse feed. Getting their hand into a Pringle can. Duck ya. I do the tilt plus 2 finger grab to get my Pringles fix. Pour the Pringles into my mouth. I try that, but by then crumbs have accumulated at the bottom, and when I try it goes all spillin' on my fakie. Small thing, but telling what a lotion, deodorant, body wash, shampoo smells like by the label. Women's is just labeled like vanilla or lavender, but men's get dumbass names like Wolf, Hawk, or Champion. Bear Fire, for men. It's manly and comes in a black bottle. Ladies, stay out. Feel the fire. Embrace the bear. Touch your friends, I think. Knowing for certain that the baby is yours. Wear another gender's clothing. I once got a bunch of mislabeled lab coats. Somehow the service switched mine out. I was thoroughly confused as to why I felt like I was a 5-year-old trying to figure out how to tie his shoes. I literally could not work the buttons. And that's how I found out women's buttons are on the opposite side of men's. It's bizarre and makes no sense. It trips you up more than you think it would. It is a leftover from the Edwardian and Victorian eras when women were habitually dressed by maids handmaiden. Therefore the buttons were back to front to allow them to be easily fastened in the normal way by another person, but then women began to undo their own buttons whilst they were back to front, and it became a habit to do it that way, so no one ever changed it. Physical contact? If I feel like it, if I need a hug, I can just cuddle with my girlfriends. I don't think it's that easy for guys. Edit, typo. Straight facts, last time I had a hug was a few years ago. Damn, now that I think about it, I haven't had a hug in a few years too. Gotta get yourself some hugging homies. Me and my homies hug all the time. My guy friends hug as a greeting. Try it out. Help a child without suspicion or judgment. Being around a child in general. I've been questioned when I was out with my son before. Once, 30 meters was on break at my last job, which was near a lake, lots of families and people walking, hanging out, etc. I was sitting in the grass on my phone relaxing, minding my own business, when this adorable little girl walks up to me, she's maybe like 6, and says, would you like to run with us? Gesturing to her friends nearby. I said no, thanks. I'm tired from working, but I'll watch you. But she wouldn't take no for an answer, and they all started running around me. I was stuck in this sticky situation. It melted my heart that she wanted to be my friend, but obviously a grown man playing with strange kids in a park doesn't really fly, but I couldn't explain that to her. I sat there kind of awkwardly not knowing what to do, when her mom finally walked up. Luckily her mom was really cool and jokingly asked if they were bothering me. I left shortly after and said goodbye. Just glad her dad didn't run over and throw me into the lake for harassing his kid, lol. I walked out of a grocery one day and a little girl ran up, wrapped her arms around my legs and hollered "Daddy." Loudly. Mom was absolutely horrified and completely embarrassed as the little girl realized I was not who she was expecting, so apologetic, and I just laughed and chatted with the girl a moment. Apparently Dad wasn't far behind me and she was shy over having made the mistake. Completely innocent and cute, but that mother looked so scared and mortified, like I was going to be angry or something, that I can't forget it. Kids are kids, they make noise, they play, they ask questions and make mistakes. Can't get bent out of shape over stuff like that. I have a vivid memory of being that little girl. I wrapped my arms around my dad's denim jeans, looked up at. Not Daddy. Lots of men wear jeans. Who knew? I have a vivid memory of picking out my video at the video store, placing it on the counter, and then standing on my father's foot while hugging his leg. A voice I didn't recognize gently said, "Now I don't want to scare you. But I'm not your father." I looked up, and sure enough, I was hugging a strange man's leg. His jeans and shoes looked just like Dad's. Naturally, I screamed in terror. Have multiple orgasms. Consoling a lost child in public, more to the perception of male threat, no matter how unfounded. My sister and I have different dads, hers is white and mine is part Hispanic. I've been looking after my nephew when she's at work and stuff, and the amount of dirty looks I get is honestly disgusting. My mom had the same issue with me when I was a small child. We're mixed, but I looked very white. Most people assumed she was the nanny and treated her accordingly. Apparently women fighter pilots handle G-forces better than men, mainly due to being shorter and their heart not having to work so hard to pump blood to their brains. Short men also handle G-forces easier for the same reason. Yep. As a tall guy, 6'4", G-forces duck with me big time. In fact, 2 weeks ago I passed out on an especially intense roller coaster. My wife, who was sitting next to me for the ride, cackled with laughter when we saw the on-ride picture and I was out like a light. That's why you have to squeeze your butt cheeks when you're going down the roller coaster drop. It's a technique called hooking that fighter pilots use. They tense up their muscles and grunt and push. Almost like trying to force out a super constipated shit. It forces blood to the brain. Edit, here's an article that explains why it's called that. It's an anti-G straining maneuver. I'm not a pilot, I just remembered reading it sometime. I don't recommend trying it at home, you'll probably just get a headache and you might possibly crap your pants. I pass out when getting blood taken, and the last time I had it done, the nurse told me to squeeze my cheeks real hard to prevent me from going under. I still lost consciousness, but I will always remember that woman shouting, "Squeeze your cheeks, hun. Squeeze your butt cheeks." As my world faded to darkness. Funniest shit I've ever read. Sit down on a chair without accidentally sitting on yourself. Too close to home. Home being your left nut. I'm not afraid of getting accidentally hit in my private parts. It can hurt, but not nearly as much as men's, I believe. Edit, yes, I've been hurt down there pretty badly before, a chair or a table, but I don't think it's the same because nothing is. You know. Hanging down there. Plus I always thought, like, what if I was a dude and suddenly someone pulled it so hard that it came out completely with all blood and nerves and skin and all that glorious stuff. It's also kinda tricky for someone to punch kick you in the coochie at the angle needed for it to really hurt. Like it almost be impressed. Tell that to my daughter, who ran and head-butted me directly on the pubic bone this morning. Thought I was going to puke. Edit, she tried to hug me after and I told her, from the floor, that I needed space. Now she's been telling me all day that she needs some space. Oof. That's rough. Toddlers' heads are made of steel, I swear. They have a talent for ramming their head into things full blast and just carrying on like it's nothing. Changing babies in public. Many men's rooms do not have baby changing stations. Edit, in the United States. Contrary to popular belief, females are also not allowed to change their babies if they don't like them. I'm afraid you're stuck with the one you got. This took me way too long to get. Having a baby. Super hard as a guy. Seahorses have entered the chat. Ask for help. Distinguish between colors. I can't find the reference now, but I once read an article where some fraudsters were sneaking into a conference with fake badges. The fake badges had a slightly different shade of color. Women could spot the difference, but men couldn't. Also, women can have the gene and not be colorblind, but if they have male kids, it's highly probable and sometimes literally impossible for them not to be colorblind. 1 in 12 males are colorblind versus 1 in 200 females. 1 in 12. Yeah, colorblindness comes in a few varieties, though. Most people who are colorblind can actually see color, they just can't distinguish certain colors very well, most commonly, red-green.